What's up, everybody? OGP back with you once again from the theater. I am patronizing my local theater, keeping the theater in business. That's what we've got to do. Today, I'm going to go watch a movie and actually remember the name of this one. I'm going to watch The Watchers. Not that hard of a title to remember. Might be a harder title to watch than it was to remember. I watched the first trailer when it came out a while back, and at first I was like, okay, looking pretty cool. And then the end of the trailer, I was like, oh no. The second trailer came out, and yeah, I just wasn't impressed. But I do it for you. I go watch the crap so you don't have to. So I'm going to go see The Watchers in the theater right now. Hit the thumbs up button if you would. Note the first couple minutes of this video will be spoiler free. So feel free to watch until I tell you to turn it off if you haven't seen the movie, if you don't want to be spoiled. I will let you know. But for now, let's get in and watch The Watchers. 2nd Street Cinema. Here we go. Number 2. Here we go. The Watchers.
Two hours later.
So I'm walking out of the theater right now, and that was interesting. The Watchers, that was interesting. Not as bad as other movies I've seen recently, but I definitely have an opinion that I'm going to share with you guys here. But we got to get out of this copywritten music right now. A Quiet Place Day 1. Shh, be quiet. The audience is listening. That one looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. And here we go. So I was scalded by a couple of you last time. First of all, let me say the Joker trailer they played before this movie looks great. So I'm definitely looking forward to the Joker. Or I guess fall, however you say that. But Joker 2, looking forward to that. Deadpool versus Wolverine. We love Wolverine. We love Deadpool. Funny versus badass. Definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, Horizon, looking forward to that too. That looks like a fun one. Kevin Costner does Western stuff very well. If I can figure out how to get out the door, we'll get outside now. They showed a Joker trailer and a Twisters trailer before the movie, and Joker looks great. Twisters looks dumb. They have people running from a tornado coming, and the car gets blown away, but the people are able to run. Last I checked, people weigh a lot less than cars, so shouldn't they have blown away before the car? Maybe. Anyways, that doesn't look good. But this movie right here, we'll talk about the non-spoiler aspects, and then when I jump in the car, we'll get into spoilers. But breaking this down, I figured the best way to do this is to break it down by acts. The act. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. The first act of this movie, and I'm chilling over here, hopefully out of the wind so you can hear me well. But the first act of this movie kind of introduced us to our characters and what was going on, and maybe kind of what direction the film was going. It started off pretty interesting, kind of dark and scary. The second act continued with that, kind of dark and scary. And the third act was a what in the absolute fuck. They changed pace. It went a different direction than I thought it was going to go, and I was not happy about it. So, the first, the movie was about an hour and 40 minutes, and I would say like the first hour and 10, hour and 15, I was all in on this movie. Like, I was thinking, I gotta go watch the trailer again to see what it was that kind of made me go, oh, this movie's gonna suck. But then by the end of the movie, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So it was not that great. It was not as painful as some other movies I have seen lately, but this one right here, it It had a lot of potential, and then they just dropped the ball. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Right down the middle. It was not good. It was not bad. Had a lot of potential. Could have easily been like a 7 or 8, maybe more, if they had wrapped it up well. But the way they wrapped up this movie and the direction, and I guess it's based off a novel, so if you've read the book, maybe you get it. I haven't read the book. So we're going to get into spoilers. If you have not seen the movie and you want to see the movie, turn the video off now, but hit thumbs up first if you would. Watch the movie and then come back and finish watching, hear my thoughts. Maybe you'll kind of understand, or maybe you'll agree with me or not, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So if you would, if you've seen the movie, let me know down below what your thoughts are, and we'll dive in to the spoilers right now. So for everybody else, see you when you get back after watching this movie, which I don't know if I would recommend spending money to see this in theaters. I would probably recommend wait till it's streaming if you want to watch it. So see you in a couple months when you come back to finish watching this video after you see it streaming. Because I really, don't pay for it. Don't pay to see it in the theater. Don't do it. So I've got a little bit different background today because I'm in my wife's van instead of my car. But man, the beard is weird right now, man. But the movie, we're in spoilers now, so don't say I didn't warn you. This movie, the first 2 acts were horror movie. The third act, we got very fantasy oriented. It didn't feel like a horror movie at all. It felt very fantasy, adventure. It was about fairies, these changeling, these creatures from the past that were coexisting with humans just fine. Humans betrayed them, locked them up, and now they're hell-bent on coming back and getting revenge on the humans. And the creatures, which the effects looked cool. There weren't that many kills in this movie, so if you're looking for a real bloody, violent, gory film, it's not that. This is more of a suspense, really a suspense fantasy with a couple kills that were just not bloody or gory. It just really wasn't. I don't know that it had me on the edge of my seat because it was a very slow burn. But there were, like, the first 2 acts, I was very invested in this film. I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. This is really good. But once we flipped the script and changed over to Fantasyland, it got hard to sit through. And in fact, a group, 2 other people that were sitting behind me got up and walked out in the middle of the third act. I'm like, how do you leave a movie when you're 75% of the way through? I say that, but I've turned movies off at home that I've been watching, and I'm like, I don't care if I'm 75, 90% of the way through. If it sucks or it's pissing me off, I'll turn it off, no problem. But these people did walk out in the third act, and I was in it for the long haul, but I kind of understand their frustration if maybe their feeling was the same way I felt. So we have these creatures that we can't figure out. How are we going to defeat them? How are we going to get out? Because basically this girl gets lost in this forest. She finds other people. They're all stuck in the forest, and they can't get out. Well, finally, they figure out that they can get out. And the way they do that is because they realize there was this like professor guy, and they gave you hints early on because this woman that was there was talking about the professor. They had knowledge of this professor. But I'm going like, the whole movie, I'm going like, well, how, we never saw the professor. How do we know all this much about this professor? Then they go and they discover this bunker down below the room that they're at. And they start watching these videos that the professor recorded. And so you're kind of learning, okay, the professor was there, but he died before any of these people came. So now we have a clue that something ain't right. How did the people know about the professor before he died? So now we're going like, okay, something's not right. Who knows? Who had the connection to the professor? Who knew what was going on? So, and then they tell you, oh, well, he had one of these things trapped downstairs, one of these creatures trapped. They never look for the creature that was trapped. They never show the area where the creature was trapped. The people down there don't even think to go like, that creature was trapped down here. Where was it? What happened to it? Well, we find out at the end, the creature was like turned into the person that was living upstairs in the room. If that was the case, the old lady who was like the leader of the group of the people that were being watched, and she knew she could get out, why didn't she just leave? She knew she was like, all the other creatures could only come out at night. She could go out in the daytime. So why didn't she just leave in the first place? So I don't know. We didn't really need the whole story. That creature could have just left at any time, apparently. So there's holes in the plot that were kind of frustrating. And the biggest problem I had with this movie was they did the same shit that Stephen King did with It. And that is, Pennywise was a vicious killer, and all we had to do was talk nice to him, and he would go away. He would wither up and die. In this one, all we had to do was talk nice to this creature, and this creature would get instead of a big boner, this creature would go, I got my wings back, bitch. I got my wings. I'm going to fly away now. Because they apparently had lost their wings when they were locked up in this like dungeon thing for thousands of years after the humans betrayed them. All these creatures, they had wings. They were fairies, but being locked up down there, they lost their wings. Well, if you talk nice to them, they get their wings back. So you got to be a real dick to these creatures, apparently. Anyways, this chick, fearing for her life, does the whole like, oh, I'm gonna talk to this creature like the kids talk to Pennywise, and made Pennywise, what a world, just shrivel up and die. That was fucking hard to watch. It was so stupid. I was like, oh my God, they're doing this. They're telling us that all you got to do is be nice to people and they'll change and they'll be your friends. And then we start getting the rainbow flags and the transgender references and things. And it's like, okay, political agenda, wham, right in the middle of this fucking movie. It wasn't so overboard like the agenda was on Evil Dead Rise, which was just a fucking shit show. Fuck that movie. But the political agenda did take over the third act. And that just, it was like the movie was going along fine. And then the director was like, oh yeah, you know what? I forgot. Fuck this audience. We're going to piss them off. So it ended very stupid. If you're okay with watching a horror movie and all you got to do is talk to the killer to like make him your friend, I have a very different outlook on horror movies than you do. I respect everybody's right to watch and enjoy and have opinions about whatever they want to watch and talk about. But my opinion is I want a vicious fucking killer. I want somebody, that is not easily swayed. I want the fucking creeper to come in and go like, oh, you're talking nice to me? Tell you what, you are making yourself vulnerable in that right now because you're right here in front of me. I'm just going to go ahead and kill you. Yeah. It was hard to watch. And I'm not going to ramble on and on and on and on about it, but I don't recommend going to see this in theaters. There was no reason to see it in theaters. It wasn't like true widescreen or anything. It looked like it was made for television. The effects, there was very little. It was mostly just in a forest. It was shot well. The lighting was fine. The locations were fine, but you didn't have a lot of gore and effects and stuff like that. There was no real reason to have to go pay to see this in the theater. I would recommend wait to see it on video on streaming at home if you're interested in watching it, and just know the third act is going to be a motherfucker to get through. It really is. But with that being said, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoy these videos. Fuck those movies that suck. But let me know your thoughts. Did you see this movie? Did you enjoy it or not? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to go probably drink some alcohol and take my mind off this shit show. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.